So my name is Clint Payne, and I am the administrator for the FlexGE program, which means I run pretty much all the day-to-day administrative duties of it. I also do some academic advising with students. A little bit of my time is used for that, and that's mainly to help me keep connected to the pulse of the program. So I want to tell you just a little bit about the FlexGE program, give you a basic overview. The FlexGE program allows students who are not admitted to BYU to come and to take classes here and participate in campus events and activities and even live with BYU students. It really gives them an opportunity to come and have a BYU experience and earn credit. Most of the students who enter the FlexGE program have the intent to transfer to BYU. FlexGE is not a guaranteed admission to BYU, but they can come and take classes, and that hopefully can help them prove that they can be successful in BYU classes and help give them a little bit of a leg up when they apply as a transfer applicant. We talked a little bit about, they've applied before, they didn't get admitted, or they just want to get started. We do have a few students in the program who don't plan to go to BYU, but they are working on Utah residency before they go to another school in the state of Utah. But a lot of them just want to have a BYU experience. Not all of them end up transferring to BYU. And we'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. The requirements to be in FlexGE, they do have to graduate from high school. They have to be 17 years old and have at least a 2.0 GPA. They have to be a citizen of the U.S. or able to study in the U.S. without needing visa paperwork from us and an ecclesiastical endorsement. They can take evening classes and Salt Lake classes during fall and winter semesters. And during spring and summer terms, they can also take day classes on campus. They can live basically anywhere except on the dorms, on campus in the dorms during fall and winter. And basically can participate in all of the activities that an admitted BYU student have, and they do that. They really like to participate in all of those, have the full BYU experience. They have access to almost all the resources available at BYU to other admitted students, with a few minor exceptions. Like I said, we talked about how most of them will have a desire to reapply to BYU. They can reapply before they have 24 credits. But some of them decide to wait until they've earned 24 because that allows them to avoid having to submit their high school transcripts if they didn't do so well in high school. We encourage them to shoot for a GPA of between 3.6 and 3.9 if they can, and then do extracurricular activities that can help them to align with the aims of BYU and become a good fit. Students who don't end up being admitted to BYU typically go to one of these four universities, with the majority of them going to UVU. And that's nice for them because it allows them to stay here in the Utah Valley and continue to have the experiences that a lot of the experiences they've been having. When that happens, we help them with figuring out what their classes are going to transfer to the other universities, what they'll equal at that kind of thing, and any residency requirements they need to be aware of. They pay the same tuition as admitted BYU students, and federal financial aid is not available to them generally because they are not in a degree program. The federal government will not give money to a non-degree seeking student. We do have partnership with Ensign College right now where they can co-enroll in both FlexGE and Ensign College. If they do that, it is possible for them to get some federal financial aid, but that is all handled by Ensign College. We don't do any of the aid part for them. And the classes that they take as a FlexGE student have to be applicable to their program at Ensign College. So if they're in like an accounting accounting program at Ensign College, and they take like a graphic design class at BYU, that graphic design class is probably not going to be eligible for financial aid for them. And then signing up is really easy on the website. They do have to do the ecclesiastical endorsement and then fill out an online application. And we can usually, once we get those things, it takes us a couple of days to process it. On our website, there is a ton of really good information in this How to Flex GE section. Lots and lots and lots of information there that gives the students kind of a self-help guidance on how to do all these things like planning classes, registering for classes, housing, all of that kind of stuff. And so we really try to encourage them to use that as much as possible, but they are also welcome to reach out to the advisors and the student employees that we have for help. Just want to give you a little bit of information about the Flex GE students and the program, how many students we have in the program. This is this fall, right now, we have 694 students signed up for classes for this fall, which is up quite a bit from last fall of 439. This right here are the number of classes that they are taking. So 2,880 classes that they're taking right now. So you could see the growth in the program is going up quite a bit in the last little while. We've been doing a lot of marketing through social media and other means to try to increase that number. We're hoping to get to about 2,000 total students in the program. Right now it's saying that we have 1,482. That's a little bit lower than that because some of the students are double counted over semesters if they've been here more than one semester. It's a little bit closer to about 1,200 right now. So demographics are pretty similar to admitted BYU students. We do have a little bit higher percentage of males than females. That's kind of interesting. I don't know why that is, but BYU is pretty equal, but we're a little bit heavy on the male side. Marital status, mostly single, but there are more of them that we don't even know if they're married or not than we know. And then we have a big bump of them at age 18, and then another one probably when they get home from their missions, and then it tapers off quite a bit. So Flex GE is mostly kind of a freshman level program for most students. The most popular courses this fall, Writing 150, we have 196 students that are signed up for Writing 150. That number would probably be quite a bit higher, but those sections have mostly been filled up with envelope students that campus is using for their pilot program that they're running right now. So yeah, we have a lot of Flex GE students that are kind of sad they can't get into Writing 150 right now. You can see religion classes are very popular, and that's because we really encourage them to take one of the cornerstone religion classes. Third most popular, Student Development 109, which we really encourage them to take. And also Student Development 117 is in there, also the career exploration. But yeah, that's kind of a breakdown of, just for this fall, of the most popular classes for our students. We do have a list of challenging courses that Flex GE students typically don't get as good a grades in. Here are the average grades in these classes. Accounting 200 used to be a C+ also, but they updated the curriculum in that class, and ever since then, grades have been going up a little bit. So that class will probably drop off this list eventually of classes that we warn Flex GE students about. The reason we warn them is because if they're still trying to get into BYU, they want to get really good grades. And so we tell them, only take these classes if you know you're going to be able to devote a lot of time and effort to homework, that you're going to utilize the Student Success Center for help, or maybe postpone that class until you're actually admitted to BYU. Hopefully, as we work more closely together with the Student Success Center, these grades will start to change, and eventually we won't have classes anymore that we warn them about, because we know they'll just do wonderfully with the resources they have. And that is all of the slides I had on this. We have, in our office, we have 3, soon to be 4 academic advisors who work with FlexGE students and meet with them. 2 of them will be, mostly that's all they will do is meet with FlexGE students. And then myself and one of the other academic advisors, we also do some program management. We also have quite a few staff employees that there are several of them that are at the front desk in the Harmon Building, room 102, that are very good at helping FlexGE students with just general questions. They answer all of the incoming phone calls for FlexGE students. We also have 2 staff employees that are at the BYU Salt Lake Center, and they answer all of the incoming emails and website chats for the FlexGE program. So between the staff at the front desk in the Harmon Building in 102 and the staff at the front desk in the Salt Lake Center, they handle all of the incoming questions, so they know a lot about the FlexGE program and basic general questions. They're probably the best people to refer students who've got a question that a peer mentor might not be able to answer or know what to do about. They would be the first line. If they can't answer it, then they will refer it to one of the academic advisors or myself. So FlexGE students generally are academically quite good, but often struggle with self-confidence because many of them have already applied to BYU and not been admitted. And so they feel a little bit of rejection that way. And when they come in the FlexGE program, they have very mixed feelings. On the one hand, they're so excited to be here. They didn't think it was going to happen, but they got to come anyway. So they're so thrilled to be here. On the other hand, they sometimes can feel a little bit of imposter syndrome because they're not an actual admitted BYU student. And so they love to know who the other FlexGE students are and to be able to interact with them, but they do not want to be called out in front of admitted BYU students that they are a FlexGE student. So it's kind of a weird dynamic going on there. They struggle with pretty much the same kind of struggles that any incoming freshman student would have. So learning how to navigate a university. Most of them are right out of high school. So how do I pay tuition? Where do I go to get help if I've got roommate problems, that kind of thing. So being familiar with campus resources is really, really helpful for them. They are, for the most part, they take a full credit load. The average is 10 credits per semester, and so they're taking full classes. They're living in apartments right around BYU. They're participating in all the activities. So yeah. Their needs are very similar to a regular incoming freshman. Academically, I mentioned the classes that we have that we warn them about. Those are the ones that we really want to make sure that they can succeed in. But study skills are a big one, and that's one reason why we really push them to take the Student Development 109 Study Skills class. But anything that they can learn through the Student Success Center and the peer mentors is excellent in that area. So the mission of the FlexGE program is to give more students an opportunity to have a BYU experience as they embark on their college years. As you know, BYU has a cap on how many students they can admit. But we have plenty of room at the Salt Lake Center and evening classes, so that we can fit more students, and that's what we want to do. because BYU is such a positive, transformative experience for these students. Our vision in the FlexGE program is to give students a premier freshman experience, and peer mentors are an essential part of that. The research is clear that peer mentors have a big impact on the persistence and success of freshman students. And so the vision that I have for peer mentoring is that these students will know that there is somebody who cares about how they do as a student here at BYU, that there are resources for them when they are not sure what to do, that they know who they can reach out to, and that there are people reaching out to them because we care about them having a good and successful experience, and that they have a good transition to what they will do next, whether that be being admitted to BYU or another university, that they can leave the FlexGE program confident that they can be successful in whatever university they finish at.